Maybe another 15 minutes before the ambulance got there. The whole time I was laying in the park, I was okay. I was coherent. I was able to breathe. I was able to answer questions. It wasn't until the paramedics got there that everything started to go wrong. Because once they put me on the stretcher, my left lung collapsed, so I wasn't able to breathe. I started fading in and out of consciousness. When I got shot, it was Friday night. When I woke up, it was Sunday night. And the first two people who I seen were my two younger brothers, and they was crying. And I remember asking them, you know, what's up, why y'all crying? And they said, the doctor said, you ain't never gonna be able to walk again. My initial thoughts were, this is my mind, this is my body. Doctors don't know what they're talking about. I'll be able to make myself walk again. That was 14 years ago. Initially when I woke up, I had all types of tubes all over my body. I had 40 staples from my chest to my stomach because they had to open up my chest to see what type of damage the bullet did. And what it did was it went in through my right side under my shoulder blade, hit my spine and my left lung. That's what made my lung collapse. I had a tube that was going into my lung called a breathing tube that was helping me breathe. I had a tube that was in the right side of my chest called a chest tube that was pumping the excess blood out of my chest because I had internal bleeding. So they had to pump the blood out. If they didn't do that, then what would have happened was my chest would have filled up with blood and I would have drowned in my own blood. So they had that tube that was pumping the blood out of my chest. I had a tube in my stomach that they were feeding me through. I had a tube, imagine being I was breathing through. And I also had a tube in my mouth that they were feeding me through. Now, imagine being 17 years old and waking up pretty much hooked up to all these machines and not really knowing what's going on. Just 2 or 3 days ago, I was on top of the world. You know, and now I wake up and I have a whole new outlook on life. My life has just changed in a split second, and I don't know what to expect. From the hospital, they sent me to Schwab, which is where I did my rehab. At that point, it's like you realize exactly the things that you're going to have to go through because it's like starting all over from being a baby. It's like everything that I can do then, everything that you guys can do now, I had to learn how to do all over again. And that goes for everything from getting dressed, to bathing myself, to getting from my chair to the bed, to getting from my chair to the shower, even learning how to put my socks on. I had to learn how to do all that again. I had to learn how to sit up, how to sit straight up. At that time, because of the injury that I have a T10 injury, which means that I'm paralyzed from the waist down. So my abdomen muscles aren't that strong, so I didn't have any balance. Like even how I'm sitting now, I wasn't able to sit like this. I would fall or I would lean, so someone would have to hold me, or they would have to put something next to me to prop me up so that I could sit up straight. So all that I had to learn how to do again. For the time that I was in the rehab, it wasn't as bad because the rehab is completely accessible, so they make things very easy for you. At this time when I got shot, I was shot in 1994. It was a lot of other guys in there that also got shot and also got paralyzed. It was about 12 of us in there, and our ages ranged from 12 to like 16. So I think I was like the oldest guy in there. And we was all, you know, trying to cope with it as best we could. So it was like, we was just pretty much trying to make the best of a bad situation. You know, we in there trying to have fun as best we could, trying to learn how to pop willies, trying to holler at nurses. So, I mean, we were just trying to make the best of it. It's not until you leave the hospital and you go home and you get into the real world that you see exactly how hard things are going to be. Because unlike the hospital, the real world isn't accessible. So there are a lot of things that I had to adjust to. A lot of things that I wasn't aware of, that I didn't pay attention to when I was walking, that I had to pay attention to now that I was in this chair. For instance, just like bikes catch flats, these chairs catch flats. Just like cars get stuck in the snow in the winter, these chairs get stuck in the snow in the winter. I once got stuck in the snow and caught a flat at the same time. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. Another thing is when you're going down the sidewalk, you guys, there's a cracks in the sidewalk, you step right over. Well, if we're not watching or paying attention to where we're going, if these two small wheels in the front, they call casters. So if they hit the cracks the wrong way, then you might come flipping up out the chair. Another thing, my apartment wasn't accessible. We lived in a 3-flat apartment building. We stayed on the 2nd floor. So it was like, now it wasn't just me, it was also my family that it was taking a toll on. You know, the people around me, the people that cared about me, the people that had to be there to help me. Because if I had to, let's say if I had a doctor's appointment, or if I had to go to therapy, and I had to be there at 11 o'clock, then my stepfather, who was supposed to be to work at 8 o'clock that morning, would have to stay home so he could help me get down the stairs. And he would have to be there when I got back so he could help me get up the stairs, which meant he just missed work for that day. Or if he didn't do it, then my brothers had to do it, which meant they just missed school for that day. Before I got shot, I'd never seen my mother cry. After I got shot, I seen my mother cry every day for about 2 years.